We're often approached about our full-time RV lifestyle, and when we start sharing about it, it seems like a lot of fears and concerns start to rise.
So we're going to share some of our thoughts about some of the more common fears that we hear from people who are considering a full-time RV lifestyle.
I think one of the biggest fears that we hear is, what do I do with all my stuff? Or I got to get rid of all my stuff.
Yeah, and this fear is kind of twofold. It's first the actual process of getting rid of the stuff, about just how overwhelming it can be, thinking about
a hard time with that.
Yeah, the actual selling or giving away, or you know, whatever it is, the fact that you have to go through all those drawers and cupboards and you have to get rid of all that. And then also there's this fear of, well, what if I need that? Or, you know, I might use that someday.
Well, I don't think you ever get rid of that fear, do you? I mean,
No,
I still
really.
kind of deal with it. Like I just don't want to get rid of something because I think I'll just end up buying it again, and it just seems like such a waste.
And
So
I
it is a struggle.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of, well, I really, you know, I think, what am I ever going to do with it? But then I think, well, I might use it.
Yeah, and it's not like you're not going to get more stuff or have stuff, because you will. It's just your stuff's going to change, and you probably won't have as much of it, which can be a good thing, because you don't have as much to manage or to have hanging over your head or to be concerned about.
It's actually very liberating to not have as much stuff to worry about.
Yeah, I think so. So it's just, you know, try it out. If you have to have a safety blanket or something by putting it in a storage or something like that, try that out. But just, you know, travel around with just the things that you need as essentials, and see how it goes. And we've found that some of the things that we have in storage, which we have a very small, little tiny storage, and that was just for keepsakes, and we're actually going to go back through those very soon. But other than that, we find that we're continually getting rid of things that we thought we were going to need, that we really don't need along with us. But I also feel like we've been bringing in stuff too, so it's definitely an ongoing thing.
It is, and but it definitely makes you think about things that you do get, as far as, are you really going to use it? And it's a lot more practical to, you know, to have something that you're really going to use, rather than, oh, that might be nice. So it is a concern, but it is something that that is very liberating in a lot of ways.
I agree. Yeah, you can own things, just don't let them own you.
Right. Another fear related to the downsizing a lot of people express is about having a home. They say, you know, you don't have a home somewhere, and I say, well, my RV is my home, so wherever I am, that's where home is. It really is true that home is where you park it when you live in an RV. Well,
and it's like people want this place to come back to. I think that's probably a deeper fear or concern, that, hey, if I try this out and I don't like it, or it doesn't work, you know, then what? You know, type of thing. Maybe a little bit of that in there. Well, you know, just because you get an RV doesn't mean the world ends there, that you can't get out of it at some point or change your mind later. I know that it's a big move, that you definitely want to be sure before you do something like this. But, you know, probably in your life you've moved from one apartment to another, or one house to another. You've probably made changes. You've moved because of a job, or you've done something. So you've learned to adapt to that change. So when you get an RV, you know, like Susan said, it's you know, and many others have said, home is where you park it. You know, you're taking your home with you. Wherever you go, your home's there. And when you come back to wherever back is, you still have your home. It's your RV.
You still feel like you're at home. So yeah, I kind of like being able to take my home wherever I go.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Sometimes people will say they'll see us out somewhere and they'll maybe it's starting to get cold and during that season, and they'll say, "Did you bring coats with you?" Well, yes, we did. We brought everything we have with us. So it's kind of neat in that respect. And you know, when we left our house, we started well, before we left our house, we started thinking about land and all these other different types of options, but we always kept coming back to the RV. Because, you know, that home is where you park it goes a little bit deeper for me, because I can get out on land and you know, park in a national forest or something like that and use all of those woods and get a lot of enjoyment out of it and experience that. And if I want to go to the mountains, I go to the mountains and have mountain property or beachfront property. Yeah. You know, we've done a lot of this, and it you know, I don't need to upkeep it necessarily. I just need to take care of the place that I'm at and make sure I leave it better than it was when I got there. But other than that, I think that's been very liberating, just being able to enjoy so much, and instead of just a little parcel somewhere, a little piece or a little box that I live in. Yeah, and just kind of think of it as a step, a period in your life that you did something. It doesn't have to mean that it's the final living choice that you're going to make for the rest of your life. It's just, you know, maybe what suits you for the time. Yeah, if it stops being fun, stop doing it. But you know, life is what you make out of it a lot, you know, and how you adapt to change. And so just make the most out of it, and, you know, try something new. Yep. Something that we addressed in another one of our videos, a question and answer video, is the fear of leaving family and friends. This is a big one, and it could really be heart-wrenching if you got close ties with those that you love. I basically had to come to grips with that I wasn't really leaving them. That they're always with me, especially in this age of communication that we have. There's just so many ways to stay in touch and to share things that are going on in our day-to-day lives. And and frankly, I feel like we've been closer in a lot of ways while traveling and going places than we have when we were stationary in a house. I mean, some of our family we see more now. Our friends and neighbors that were around us, we actually do more with them. They come where we're at, or we go back around. As we make our way back around, we'll see them again, and it seems to be fun, you know, just to keep in touch. And it's great in that you can see other family and friends that you haven't been able to see, or maybe you can only see them once every few years or something. If you're living in an RV, it makes it much easier to travel around and see those people as well. And we've made so many new friends. So right, all the while maintaining the strong friendships that we have. Yeah, we're just adding onto the list rather than, you know, a lot of times if you live in a house and you move to another city, you kind of lose the friends that you had before and make new friends. Well, it seems that we're constantly making new friends while being able to maintain the friendships with the previous friends, because we'll meet up with them later down the road, or we'll, like you said, we'll come back to where they live, and we definitely make the effort to spend time with them when we're in that area. So yeah, and that's been great. And we've met up several times in different states with people, and then some of the people that we've met since we've been full-time RVers, we've met them again 2 and 3 times at in different states and locations, and it's really fun to do that, to meet up like that. And we stay in touch with family. One of the things that we like to do is we use an app called WhatsApp, and that allows us to send videos and text, and you can even make phone calls, but we essentially just use it to send videos, because it will send the video in its full HD quality to the other to the recipients that you tag for getting the video, and they can watch little videos. We'll do like a 1 to 3 minute thing, usually under a minute, and we'll just send it every day or every other day, and just share something that's going on in our lives, and then we'll get answers back, video answers that way. And it's really neat to be able to see their faces and hear their voices and see what they're up to.
Yeah.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be you know, something that you have to do over the phone or in, you know, in real time, because you might not have a Wi-Fi connection or something like that. But these are little cherished things that you get to keep, because we go back and watch them, and you don't really get that all the time when you're just doing a normal phone call.
If you're doing, or if you're Skyping or using FaceTime or something like that, you can't really go back and watch those little video clips again unless you've recorded it. So it's really kind of a neat app to use to stay in touch.
And you know, leaving family and friends sometimes can strengthen those relationships. They make them more rich, and you just take it to another level. And some things you might even, they might grow weaker. So it's kind of maybe a good test on some friendships or relationships to see you know, do they really hold up in the absence like that. But we found that we stay in touch quite a bit, and we meet up as much as possible, and we meet so many people. I mean, just all over the place. People approach us, or you know, we get introduced, or somehow we meet up with new people all the time, and it's just been amazing.
Yeah, it really has. Finances is a really big fear, but that's a fear no matter where you live.
That's for sure.
You have to make a living some way or another, and the ways that you're going to do it with a full-time RV lifestyle are probably going to be different than the way that you would do it living in a stationary house. But there are opportunities to make it happen, that's for sure. Yeah,
and it seems like travel in and of itself opens up a lot of different opportunities that you might not have ever crossed your path. There's a lot of seasonal work out there. If you go say south in the winter, that's their season down there for hiring a lot of people. And you know, like even ski places and stuff like that will just hire seasonal, or beach areas, or along a river, or fishing places, all these different things. Even if you don't have an interest in those, they have a lot of jobs surrounding those types of outdoor activities. And so it really makes a lot of different opportunities pop up, doing things that you might not have thought that you'd ever try.
Right, or maybe that you wouldn't want to do for 20 years, but maybe you could do it for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, or so, you know, I mean, you don't have to constantly be moving. You chart your own course. Don't do it like we do it or anybody else. You do it the way that you want to do it. If you want to go someplace for a month and stop and put in a couple weeks work, or go someplace for 6 weeks or 3 months, you know, you can do seasonal work or temp work or things like that. We've shared in a couple other videos how we do things, how we're trying to do things, and some other job type things that you can do on the road. We shared a bunch of those in another money-making video. But you know, there are jobs that allow you, with probably an internet connection and a phone, to work on the road. There's so many different opportunities. And you know, I'm not trying to convince anybody to go out there without being able to make a living, because that would be foolish. But I do know that you can't find out unless you look. Yep.
And there's, like we said, there are opportunities, and it lets you use your creativity to maybe come up with some new ones that you hadn't thought of before.
Yeah, and a lot of these jobs don't require you to have this extensive resume and things like that. They're basically looking for safe, friendly people that are willing to have fun and work. I mean, there's amusement parks, there's all kinds of things that are open for seasonal help.
And another thing about finances when you're full-time RVing is that you can adjust your level of travel and experience based upon your finances. So if you maybe did a seasonal job for a few months and you got some money saved up, you can travel for a few months. Or if you're you know,
Yeah,
kind of going the other way, you can, you know, maybe not travel as much, so you can adjust it on the fly.
yeah, you can go and do some BLM land or boondocking, whereas, you know, with a mortgage, you can't just take off for a few months and say, well, I'll pay that when I get back, you know, and pick up payments then. And so this way you can kind of adjust as your income allows. But it does take a lot of research and effort. It's not necessarily, you know, easy all the time, but I think that's pretty much life.
Yep.
But one other thing that's really neat about working on the road like this is a lot of these jobs only want you for a certain period of time, so you don't have to feel like you're going to run out on them in 6 weeks or 4 weeks or 3 months. A lot of these jobs are made for that. They're tailored for that, and they only need you for that amount of time. And often they'll want you to come back. If things work out, they'll want you to come back, and you can already book that for the next year. And some people will go all around the country just hitting different spots that they've set up to work at different times of the year. And the way I kind of look at the work situation at this time is I don't mind hard work, but I don't want it to feel like it's a job. I want it to be well, to some extent. I want it to be something outside of my box, or something, you know, adventurous. And so it gives you the opportunity to try things differently, because you don't need this extensive resume necessarily for some of these jobs.
Yeah, that's very true.
Leaving one's familiar surroundings is a big one too. That basically means that people just don't like the unknown, I guess. You know, just getting out to new places and trying new things kind of is a little bit scary. They feel like, well, they don't know people there, or it's far away, or you know, I don't know. It's just
a fear that I had and still have to some degree is the fear of actually traveling to the places, the actual driving and getting in and out, because when you have such a big rig and it's everything that you own in it, you're very cautious about where you take it and how you you know, so that you don't get stuck in some place that you can't get out of, or something like that. So the way that we work on this fear is just by doing a lot of research.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Talking to people that have driven the route or been to the place, talking to people that work there and know the best routes to get in, doing Google research and all that kind of thing kind of helps to alleviate that fear.
Yeah, definitely. And you want to, like, you know, increase your boundaries, you know, set out and explore. And you can do this incrementally, you know, don't feel like, you know, well, I have to drive the entire United States or all, you know, 48 contiguous states or something like that. You know, just, you know, do what you want to do. Go see some of the places that are a little bit closer nearby. You know, try it out. Do it incrementally and grow as you go. Yeah.
Your confidence will rise with each trip that you take, and each destination that you arrive at safely. You will be that much more confident to maybe go a little bit further the next time.
Yeah, and you know, Susan mentions like the fear of, you know, getting into places and things like that. A lot of that has just been really just empty kind of fears. That they're probably, you know, they're valid concerns, but we've hardly ever had a problem with that type of thing. So
and I think that's because we've done the research and stuff. So
that goes a long way. And the more that you look into a place that you're going, the more your confidence builds, the more you become familiar with it. And once you go on a few trips and make it from one place to the other, it just gets easier and easier. You get into your routine, and you start knowing how to approach it a lot better.
And you really start enjoying the adventure and just the little things like we've talked about before, of experiencing the new town, the new laundromat, the new movie theater, or you know, whatever they have in the new place that you're at. Just going for a walk and checking out the new areas, always exciting to me.
Definitely fun.
Those were some of the more common fears that we hear. Comment and let us know if you have others.
Yeah, and we're not trying to convince anybody to live this lifestyle. We're simply sharing some thoughts on some of the fears that people have that actually want to be full-time RVers.
So let us know if anything that we shared was helpful, and don't forget to share and subscribe.
Thanks for watching. Whoa, 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 what are you doing?
Downsizing.